Imagine feeling a sudden, intense pressure behind your eyes. You try to scream, but your jaw locks shut. Your legs start walking, but you aren't the one moving them. You are trapped inside your own mind, watching helplessly as a microscopic entity pilots your rotting body to its death, just so it can burst out of your skull. This isn't fiction. This isn't a horror film. Right now, as you sit here, millions of animals across the planet are being hijacked, reprogrammed, and turned into living flesh meshes. These are nature's real zombies. Our next zombie isn't controlled by the mind. It's controlled by the body itself. Introducing Ribeiroia ondatri, a parasitic flatworm with a plan so diabolical it almost seems intentional. Here's how it works. The parasite starts in snails. It multiplies, then releases larvae into the water, thousands of them, all hunting for one thing, a developing frog tadpole. Once inside, it doesn't go to the brain. It goes straight to the limb buds, the tiny clusters of cells that will become the frog's legs. And it scrambles them. The result? Frogs born with extra legs, missing legs, or legs growing from their faces. These frogs can't jump properly, can't escape predators. They're easy prey. And that's exactly the point. Birds eat the deformed frogs. The parasite travels to the bird's gut, reproduces. The eggs come out in the bird's droppings, back into the pond, and the cycle continues. The frog isn't the victim. The frog is the vehicle. This one should scare you, not just because of what it does to rats, but because of what it might be doing to you. Toxoplasma gondii is a single-celled parasite. It can only sexually reproduce inside one type of animal, the cat. But it infects hundreds of species, including rodents and humans. In rats, it does something extraordinary. It travels to the rat's brain and rewires its fear response. Rats are hardwired to be terrified of cat urine. It's instinct. But Toxoplasma flips that switch. Infected rats don't just stop fearing cats. They become attracted to the smell of cat urine. They walk toward it. They linger near cats. They are eaten. The parasite reaches the cat's gut, reproduces. The cycle completes. Now, about 1/3 of all humans on Earth are infected with Toxoplasma. Most show no symptoms. But studies suggest infected people show subtle changes, slightly reduced reaction time, higher risk-taking behavior, altered personality scores. The parasite may not be done with us yet. If Toxoplasma is unsettling, what the jewel wasp does is something else entirely. Ampulex compressa, the emerald jewel wasp, is a neurosurgical genius. When it finds a cockroach, it doesn't sting it to paralyze it. That would be too simple. Instead, it delivers 2 venom injections, one to the midsection to temporarily freeze the front legs, and then a second, perfectly aimed sting directly into the cockroach's escape reflex center in the brain. The cockroach doesn't die. It doesn't run. It just stops caring. The wasp then grabs the cockroach's antenna like a leash and walks it to a burrow. The cockroach follows voluntarily. It can still move. It just has no will to escape. The wasp lays a single egg on the cockroach's leg, seals the burrow, and leaves. The larva hatches, eats the cockroach alive, carefully, keeping it alive as long as possible to preserve freshness. The cockroach is a living lunchbox, and it walked itself there. And then there's this, Cymothoa exigua, the tongue-eating louse. And no, I am not going to make this less horrifying. This parasite enters a fish through the gills as a juvenile. It attaches to the base of the fish's tongue, and it feeds on the blood supply until the tongue withers and falls off. Then, it grips the remaining stub with its legs and becomes the tongue. The fish continues to eat normally, using the parasite as a functioning replacement tongue. The louse feeds on the fish's mucus and food particles for the rest of the fish's life. It is the only known parasite in the animal kingdom to functionally replace a host organ. The fish doesn't even know it's housing a hitchhiker. It just keeps eating, and so does the louse. Our final zombie may be the most dramatic. Spinochordodes tallinii, the Gordian hairworm, spends its adult life in water. but it's born on land, inside a cricket. For months, the worm grows inside the cricket's body, eating its fat reserves, leaving the vital organs just barely intact. Then, when it's ready to return to water to mate, there's a problem. Crickets don't swim. Crickets avoid water. So the worm hijacks the cricket's nervous system, producing proteins that mimic the cricket's own brain chemistry, and drives the cricket to seek out water. And then to jump in. Visual. Cricket hits water. Worm erupts from the body, sometimes longer than the cricket itself, and swims away. The worm tears out of the cricket's abdomen, sometimes 3 times longer than the host, and swims off to find a mate. The cricket sometimes survives, floating, hollowed out, alone. Its only purpose, to carry a worm it never agreed to host. 6 parasites, 6 horror stories, all real, all happening right now. The cordyceps that engineers a perfect death. The flatworm that builds broken bodies for someone else's benefit. The mind bender that makes prey walk into the jaws of predators. The wasp that performs neurosurgery with a sting. The creature that becomes a body part. And the worm that hijacks a mind just to go swimming. Nature doesn't have villains. It doesn't have monsters. It just has survival. And sometimes, survival looks exactly like this. If this video made you uncomfortable, good. Because the world is far stranger and far darker than most of us are willing to admit. Subscribe if you want to keep looking. New nightmare every week.